Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Brutal Truth About Sales and Selling podcast. Boy, am I grateful for all my listeners and the special ones who go and iTunes, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, and go to LinkedIn and connect with me and share my content on LinkedIn. Super grateful, which transitions me into the topic today. Gratitude is a superpower for us salespeople. Why do we need it? Well, guess what? Our days are not easy. There's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of delays. We're constantly trying to get people to take action, and that is not an easy thing to do. So we got a whole episode today where I've got a gratitude expert, and please give this episode a chance. I know you might think it's a little frou-frou new age, but it really works. And at the end, I'll kind of sum it up with some approaches that I've done and the results that I've gotten so that you will understand it. Also giving you an update on the courses and what you can do to find out more about them at b2brevenue.com. And I'm also grateful for my friends at Covideo. They're doing some great work there. Video is your game changer in 2018. If you're not using video email, you're way behind. Check it out today at covideo.com. Also, Discover.org is just crushing it. They got a huge rating, like the #1 data provider, because their data is so good. They got 200 people working for you 24/7 to get the data right, so you know who to contact and what to talk to them about and have correct contact information. And the courses are blowing up. So do you have enough meetings yet? Do you? Are you going to crush your number this year? Are you? Are you #1? Are you? Are you happy where you are? I know, Brian, shut up with the courses already. Let's get into the interview. I'll sum it up at the end. Hi, Geetha. Thanks for joining us today as a way of getting started. Tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian. It's been wonderful talking to you earlier on as well, and I'm so excited. And I am a corporate trainer, gratitude leadership coach, and a an international best-selling author and a certified speaker. I've been training in the corporate field for over 14 years. And it's such an honor to be a trainer as well as a coach. And I have been teaching about gratitude leadership specifically, and I teach people to thank and laugh all the way to the bank.
That's a nice way to position it.
Thank you.
How did you get into it?
It's kind of a long story, but then I would just try to share a bit of a background about that. I've been a trainer for over a decade, and I was doing this workshop in a corporate setting, and somehow I just couldn't connect with them, and they were feeling very low in spite of a motivating and positive thinking workshop, which was going on, more of a team building workshop. And when I reached out to them, they said that all of them, every one of them in that group who were attending the workshop got the pink slip. And just to keep them, up and high on their energy levels, they were asked to attend this workshop. So that really bothered, because many a times employees, basically, they don't feel the need to be, or rather they are unable to feel the family kind of an atmosphere in an organization, and they are less appreciated. And many a times, not only just for the sake of, for the sake of it, you need to give them the pink slip. It's basically sometimes for no reason, or the cost cutting, or for some, downscaling. They tend to, there are so many turnovers happening all around the world. And this is something that motivated me to want to start something that would be more of appreciation and building on the gratitudes, that we can create more of an, connection towards our employees in any organization, that wanting to make the organizations realize how important being more concerned about our employees is so important in everybody's lives. And that's what made me want to start the program that I'm doing right now on gratitude leadership.
And how long does it take to do something like this? Because I hear about gratitude all the time, and you got to believe it. But is there that much to it? Can you do it wrong?
There's nothing called wrong per se. Everything is right, isn't it? So it's basically how we look at it. It's for example, if we talk about challenges, we talk about we definitely, and most of the time we talk about it in a negative fashion. But when we look at it as an improvement area, automatically that becomes an improvement, right? So the same way, there's nothing wrong to doing anything at all, but particularly when I see gratitude, we tend to focus on gratitude only during the Thanksgiving time, or during Christmas, and we just move on with that, and then afterwards we just forget all about it. So that I always call a gratitude as a muscle. That muscle needs to be exercised, just like how we exercise our body and our minds. We need to exercise the gratitude muscle as well. So one concept that I've created is the gratitude quotient. So just like EQ and IQ, we need to build our gratitude quotient as well. So it's basically how we go about doing that muscle. I remember a joke from Zig Ziglar, who he once shared that motivation. Somebody asked him about why we need to be motivated every day. Every time we need to keep motivating ourselves. So he just shared that so is bathing, right? So we need to bathe every day. Otherwise, how will you keep yourself clean? We need to brush every day. So this just the same way. We need to be in the continuous flow of gratitude. We need to harness the energy levels of being in gratitude. So as you rightly said, it's not many people are talking about, but it's basically how we implement it and just use it. Because I remember when I started off writing my gratitudes, I started off with 1 and 2 and 3, and then today slowly on, when I'm encouraging my clients to do that, when I need to walk the talk, right? So when I tell them write 50 gratitudes a day, I need to do that myself. So I've been doing that, and today I'm very honored to say that, and feel humbled to say that I write 101 gratitudes every day. Basically, how we want to utilize the beauty of just being in the flow of gratitude, that will help us to just exponentially grow our businesses in every way we can.
And what kind of research has been done about, gratitude connected to business success versus just happiness?
Absolutely. There are so many researches happening all around the world, especially when we talk about Buddhist monks. That's something very predominant, compassionate, which is very predominant in them. And tests have been conducted, and in fact, electrodes and wires have been connected on their heads, and they've seen the calmness that it brings, being compassionate, being in the flow of gratitude all the time. So the same way, when we look at businesses, there are various other parameters. I have a radio show, which I have been doing for the last 2.5 years, and I interview my guests who speak about how gratitude has been beneficial and instrumental in their businesses. So it also goes live on Facebook on my page, along with the guests sharing their thoughts, and I've had prominent guests all through. So it's basically, there are so many other people who are taking up and various ways how they can support and make it more prevalent. And when I talk to clients, and when I'm meeting people, and when I do my gratitude walks, so it's basically how we can transcend. When you're happy, you want to do many more things in the best way we can. And when we are in gratitude, we are happy. Absolutely. At one point, only a positive thought can stay in our minds. No two thoughts can be there at that one same point of time. So it's either positive or it's negative. And when you are grateful, so for example, right now, if you just think about one gratitude in your mind, just think about whom you are grateful for: your mother, your spouse, your better half, or your partner, or even your pet. Just one person or one aspect of your life that you're grateful for. Just think for that one moment, and you would see what I'm trying to say is you just have that one thought, and it's overwhelming positiveness, overwhelming love and affection. And that is gratitude. That really brings in so much of energy. It really brings in so much of power to yourself that it just blows you apart. It just brings in so much of love and affection at that moment. And internalizing that will help you to grow your businesses too. So every time we look at, for example, just last year on Women's Business Month, they filmed my whole gratitude walk and the radio show. And that really helped so many of the entrepreneurs to understand what gratitude is all about and how they can use it in their businesses and ways of life. It's there on my website and pages too. So it's basically how we can instrumentalize and harness the goodness that we have in each one of us. It's absolutely there in each one of us. It's just basically finding somebody to help you harness it and making it to the best possible way. So that's what I've seen, and I've been doing it with organizations. It's really helping them. So straight from the bottom lines, you can actually, catapult yourself to unknowing heights just by helping yourself identifying yourself with your gratitudes and being in the flow of that.
And is it because people are now focused on the positive, the possibility of things that can happen versus the daily troubles and obstacles that they have in their way?
In fact, if you have troubles, it's all the more the reason to be grateful for. No, because many a times we tend to think that, okay, the troubles are pulling us down. But if you observe and if you watch different stories around the world, all those people, especially if you take books or talks on people who have been successful and they've crossed various heights, everybody has been through some troubling aspect of their life. People who have lost jobs, they've come up beautifully as business personnel. So I would say that being grateful for those moments. I have had many challenges. I moved from India to the US and had to start all over from scratch when I had a buzzing business back in India for almost over a decade. So I had to start right from, the basics. And I went on to build my business there. And it's been less than 6 years, and I've built it beautifully with writing 2 books and doing my gratitude leadership coaching as well as training and teaching. So it's each and every one of us have our own challenges apart from the various other things. It could be health challenges, there could be business and financial challenges. So how we overcome them, and when you reflect back on, these are the moments that you tend to be more grateful for. So I would suggest and want each one of us to be more grateful to all those difficulties, all those challenges, as opposed to always having a very beautiful, positive screen all the time. I'm not talking about happiness psychology or just focusing on being happy all the time. That's not possible. It's very difficult to be happy all the time. But in spite of having those challenges, facing those challenges and thinking them as improvement areas and focusing on them, that would lead us to be more grateful for them. That would lead to more of calm and composite thought process in our mindset. So that would lead to positive mindset. And that's what I'm talking about.
And what is your recipe? What is your recommendation as far as a daily habit? Is it what you described, making the list every morning? Does it matter when you do it, how you do it?
Absolutely. I have a tool which I call it the Grateful Pat, and I'm working on an app towards helping and supporting many more people to want to use that. Because many a times gratitude, when we talk about it, people just think, okay, gratitude, then what? And right? Yeah. So many a times it does happen, and I'm sure you will agree with me. It's something that comes up to me every day. And these small tips will really help each one of us to harness gratitude in a better way. And the one tool that I use, as I shared, Gratitude Pat, is, of course, writing it down, yes, but then it would really help us it doesn't matter what time. It's up to you when you want to do it. You can also record it on your phone on a day-to-day basis. So grateful PAT stands for PAT. P is for a person. So gratitude for a person, grateful for a person. And along with that, writing an action list. Why are you grateful for that person? Say, for example, you're grateful for your partner. Why are you grateful for your partner for that particular day? You could be grateful for your partner every day of the 365 days of a year. But then there could be various different reasons. For example, today, probably she brought you a bunch of roses all of a sudden, or made you a wonderful cup of tea. Or it could be your pet who just jumped over you and licked you all over your face. So it's basically what or whom are you grateful for at that point. So grateful for a person. The second is activity, grateful for an activity, whichever activity that you may be doing. For example, you went for a walk today, or you went for a swimming class or a spin class, and you met a friend there and had a great talk. So you can write down, I went for a swimming class, and then what made you want to write about that swimming. So basically focusing on the action and the particular task. So grateful for a person, grateful for a task, an activity. And T is grateful for a thing. So if you want to keep yourself healthy, you're grateful for an apple a day, keep the doctor away, or basically, if the doctor is handsome or pretty, keep the apple away, right? So focusing on the thing or anything that comes to your mind, giving yourself that freedom to write anything that comes to your mind you're grateful for. So writing 3 things every day, I generally encourage each one of us to keep a spiral book, a small book, under your bed in the morning. So preferably write it in the morning, and then going back to sleep at night, just reading through those. That really helps us to harness our gratitude in a better way. And I generally throw it out as a 30-day challenge, because it takes 21 days for us to build a habit generally. So 30 days really helps us to at least try and implement it, and eventually, slowly, you can try and focus on building it more as a habit. You will see the difference. So once you start writing and then going back to read it, it would really help you to, it's more like a to-do list, more like your happiness to-do list. And when you write your gratitude to-do list, it helps us to reflect back and go on a nostalgia walk, which that's what I call. It's one of my programs, is Nostalgia Walk, where you go back on your walk and identify all those wonderful moments, which really helps you to harness and be grateful for all those moments and collect your fireflies energies that really support you.
Now, tell us about the walk. Now, do you have a particular agenda? Are you nostalgia? You're
Yes.
talking about particular moments in your life, or?
Yes, exactly. It's nostalgia when we talk about, I take people on workshops through the nostalgia walk, and it's basically reflecting on all those wonderful, good, happy, or even difficult moments through your life that you could be grateful for. And at times there is so much of revelation, because what happens is we tend to move on further, and we tend to forget all those wonderful moments that we've had through our lives. So when we reflect back, and when you actually reflect back, you see how far you've come. You look at your school days, you look at your college days, and then you look at what you've achieved further on at some point in life, and then today, and then you see, oh my God, I've achieved so much. I didn't even realize that. I didn't even, I used to sing before, and today I'm a performer and a speaker and an amazing, go out on tours. So it's such a big growth that I have. So people just come up with so many new things, and there are many more ideas that come up out of that. Even if you're working in an organization, when you reflect back and you go back to your past even difficulties, you see that, oh my God, I've come through these difficult points in life, and I've come across beautifully, and I've shown through, and really motivates each one of us to want to do more, and that really helps us. The same way I take people on gratitude walks on the move. It's called On the Move Gratitude Walks and Woods, and it's more of like a team building program where I encourage them to interact with each other, a lot of games and a lot of activities in absolute wilderness with no phones, no attachments in any way, and it really helps you to go deeper inside yourself and appreciate yourself, your team members, appreciate everybody around you. And that is so strong and really helps us to build our gratitudes in a better, higher fashion. And I've seen people wanting to support each other better, wanting to be there for each other better, more like as they would be part of a family. And that's the intention, basically, to actually be, or rather owning yourself in the organization. That's the whole idea.
Now, tell us about how you engage with organizations. But I got to imagine that this would not be an easy sell. Am I wrong?
To a great extent, yes, it is not. But then it's basically when and once people realize the importance of it, and I generally target organizations which are more employee-centric. Yeah. And they understand it better, especially CEOs and in organizations. That I would generally interact with them better, because when everything starts from them, and when they are attuned to their own organization's well-being. So basically, when you look at the positives of it, when you look at the bottom lines being coming up and the employee turnover coming down, and when you show the statistics, people realize that it's how important being grateful is. I have a whole gratitude leadership training program, and I'm also working towards certifying the training programs to dole it out to various people who would want to do that as a program. So it's basically how we look at it. And I would say that there are, worldwide, there are thousands of organizations. So if one is not inclined, there are 10 more. So it's basically not, again, as I shared earlier, looking at it as one step up or as an improvement area, looking at it as more like the Edison view, which I call it, is how else can I make the light bulb shine in that organization with my gratitude leadership philosophy.
And is the most of the resistance that you run up against just people who kind of know is good for them, but they don't know, or they don't have the inertia to start it? Is that what you run into?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's more like don't have the patience, or they may not want to experiment as much. So that's one aspect of it. But then these days there are so many, especially millennials, they want to work with organizations who are more giving, and they want to work with organizations who are more have a philanthropic mindset and who are more helping. So bringing in gratitude leadership really helps the organizations to actually get the Ladakh cream of the millennials that they're looking out there, who would want to be part of the organization. Because they look at Google, they are so employee centric. They support their employees to a great extent. There are so many other organizations who are coming up. Jeff Weiner, LinkedIn's CEO, had written a beautiful article on compassion and gratitude. So there is so many steps that are being taken towards bringing in appreciation at work, bringing in gratitude leadership at work. And I'm sure that it's just a starting point. It's just going to go on rising, because it's very important that we understand the importance of being in the continuous flow of gratitude. The more we realize that, the more we are focused on gratitude quotient and build our leaders more as gratitude leaders. I believe that it's just one step at a time towards changing the world.
And is it easier than meditating? I mean, because I think that both are any kind of mindful activity. But I'd say gratitude is probably easier because we're used to writing things down versus closing our eyes and listening to our breath.
Meditate. Yeah. One other thing I would love to share here is we talk about meditation as a difficult aspect because we need to sit down and close our eyes and focus on. I would say that any form of work that you're doing, is meditation. If you are focused And if you're giving your 100% to it, you're meditating. Let it be you're doing your work on your desk. If you're just focusing on you're giving your complete 110% to that work, and just giving all your attention to it, that is meditation. So also you're going for a walk. You're observing your walk, what's happening around there, and you're keeping your foot down, and you feel the crunchies, the leaf crunching beneath your feet, and you're feeling the fresh air on your face, and you're walking on the beach, and you're feeling that. So all that, just the action part of whatever we are doing, and giving our complete attention to it. So also eating your food with complete attention to it is all meditation. So I wouldn't say that, yes, of course, sitting down and giving your 100% and meditating, closing your eyes is important. And that's also a part of meditation. It's a way of meditation. But that's not the only way of meditation. That's what I want to say. So it's equally easy if you look at it in that perspective. And so also is gratitude. Writing down the list, or even thinking about it, and especially with young children, when I work with them, I just encourage them to say it out loud. I'm grateful for you, Mom, and just give a hug to her. You actually see the light in the mother's eyes, and the little droplets of water just forming in her eyes when the little child comes and hugs her. So it's all about feeling and connecting, and how we actually think about creating, how we can build it in businesses, because it's just the same way. We talk about family is separate and work is separate, but then end of the day, why do we work? We work to sustain ourselves. We work to be part of the family, to be able to provide for our family. And why not build that bridge? Why not bring in all the feelings as well as the thinking processes? And when I talk about gratitude, I encourage people. I have a gratitude cap, which I use in my workshops. So it's gratitude thinking cap, just like that, a gratitude cap. So you can wear it whenever you want and just go about doing your everyday activities. Every breath you can be grateful for. Just close your nose for 1 second, Brian, and you will realize the importance of the breath
yes,
at that instant.
Very quickly.
There it is. At that instant, we feel grateful for that breath of fresh air, which we tend to not think about as much. Our liver is working for us through the night. It does 500 different actions through the night while we are sleeping. Are we even aware of that? No. But one small thing, which, even if a tummy upset, or even if there is a little bit of indigestion or headache, you start thinking, oh, what's going on? What's wrong? So a body itself it's a huge mechanism which teaches us so much. And every part of the body is, if you are grateful for each and every part of the body, there are 108 chakras. Just being grateful for each part of the chakra body, that's enough. You have 108 points of gratitude there and right there. So it's just how we process it, how we think about it. And first of all, changing our mindset towards thinking that, yes, this is going to be helpful. That's very important. Any different or new technique, or I wouldn't even say new technique. It's just age-old, traditional, I think thousands of years old technique. And if we just harness it and make use of it in our day-to-day lives, even in businesses, even for organizations, even for CEOs, even for employees, even for teams, even for us in the family, for a child, anybody, everybody, if we just harness it and make the best use of it, we can change our lives to an amazing extent.
Great. Hey, I really appreciate your time today. Where do people go to get your book and connect up with you? Absolutely.
You can reach on my website, geetakrishnan.com. It's GeetaKrishnan.com. Also reach me on my LinkedIn, Geeta Krishnan Inspires. That's the LinkedIn as well as Facebook. And you can reach out to me on my email, geetakrishnaninspires@outlook.com, and connect with me for my programs. My books are available on my website, and I'm also building my brand new website, gratitudeleadership.com, which will be out soon, along with my book, Gratitude Leadership. So thank you so much for asking that, Ryan.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that, because gratitude is one of those things that keeps us focused on the real thing, the things that matter. We think it's all goals, which are great. And if we're goal oriented, you know that. You know if goals work for you or not. Have you reached your goals? If you haven't, maybe they don't work for you. What does work is daily habits, a routine that constantly gets better, that you constantly get some kind of compounding day after day by eliminating little bad things, introducing little good things. Now, with gratitude, what I've found is instead of trying to make a huge list at first, that's hard. Think of one thing. Who are you grateful for? What were you grateful for today? What part of your health, what part of your job, what part of your day are you grateful for? Is it sunny out? Did you get a nice night's rest? Did you have a good meal? And if you start asking yourself, well, what's one thing? And even if you can't think of it, what's this next thing? I keep doing that. And even I doing this gratitude walk that was suggested, I will do that. I'll just keep asking myself, even if I don't come up with an answer. The point is it gets your mind focused on you being grateful for the things that you have instead of focusing on what you don't have. Yes, it's good to desire things, but if you get too beaten down, because let's face it, there's a lot of days in sales where you're just like, oh, ready to give up. And it's the type of profession that if you just stick with it, for a good 3 to 5 years, then all of a sudden it really starts to work for you. And maybe you're not right for sales. I don't know you. I can't speak for you. But sales was a real struggle for me when I got into it. I was money motivated, but I didn't have the personality for sales. I kind of had a good sense of what people would do and how to give to people and how to help people out. So I kind of focused on that. But once you start getting going, and then all of a sudden you start making money and it starts compounding. But then, of course, you're going to have bad days. You're going to get your territory cut. You're going to get your comp plan cut. You're going to get a bad manager. You're going to get a different manager. The company gets acquired. All these things that you have a little influence but not much control over. How you adapt to them will have a huge impact on how well you do. Because you don't want to go back into that mundane, no control over your income. This is a beautiful profession where you can have a good base salary and good upside with very little risk. So really try gratitude in whatever portions you can take. You will be amazed just if you try it for a week. I'm telling you, it'll have enormous impact. Hey, I want to let you know that there's a new course coming up called Questions That Close and Convince. And I'm just finishing this up right now. If there's anybody out there that wants to be a beta tester with me, I'd give you 50% off on it. When I do offer it, it will include a review, basically, but you have to, do your questions per the course, and then we sit down and review them, and I make recommendations, and then we'll do another one to see, after a month of trying them, where you get stuck. But what I find is questions are the superpower of sales. It's also the easiest way to become great at sales. Instead of trying to figure out what to say, figuring out what to ask is so much more powerful. And people don't really think about the problem. And we have to get them to think about the problem. And questions is the only mind control tool we have. It's legal. So that course is coming up January 1st, so keep an eye out for it. Make sure you're checking out b2brevenue.com. Take a look at the courses. Let's sit down and talk if you're serious and you're interested and want to start but just want a clarification. They're all access for a year. You can pay for them monthly, but it is a commitment. It's not a membership. So it's 12 payments, or you can pay for it all at once, make it smell like gas, and let's crush it in 2019. But now's the time to get ready. What you don't want to do is just put it off until January 1st when the prices go up, and then all of a sudden try and, adapt to your new territory and everything, and then also try and learn something. Come up with your system, your game, and how to become great at it. Yes, you know how to sell, and you may know how to play chess. It doesn't make you a grandmaster. This is going to get you to the grandmaster stage and the ability to get there. So I hope you check it out, b2brevenue.com. Connect up with me on LinkedIn. I really appreciate everybody who supports the podcast by following the company page there and liking some of those videos I put up. It's just, funny stuff about business, inspiration, and motivation. And they're nice to see something of that in your LinkedIn feed. We'll see you next time at b2brevenue.com. So that's it. I really appreciate it. And please tell somebody about the podcast and let me know if I can help you in any way. Oh, and you want to hear some results from the course? Well, here you go.
I love the approach. It's working for me just fantastic. If I sent you some of the emails, which I should, the conversations that I'm having with people, I think you'd be blown away because they're not really about work. Yeah. I've figured out if you can kind of get personal with them, like one lady, it's all about her family, kids. And then I sprinkled in a little bit around work, and she's LinkedIn, sending me messages on LinkedIn, photos of her family. No, I'm not even kidding. I should show this to you. You'd be stunned. I was shocked. And we're going to lunch on September 6th. And yesterday she shot me a LinkedIn message and said, "Hey, Ron, why don't we get on the phone and do a video call beforehand so our lunch isn't so awkward? We're like barely not meeting each other for the first time." Oh, holy cow, right? Like, this is unbelievable. So this is not the first time that this has happened. She's kind of an extreme, but I'm starting to figure out a pattern where I can actually make this a process, So
good. Yeah,
I'll show you that. So it's getting to that point. And every time I do this, I'm like, God, this is unbelievable, So,
and it feels better too, doesn't it?
Oh, Brian, let me tell you something. To be able to go to lunch with her, I'll even talk to her on the phone, right? We're going to talk about family, kids, work-life harmony, because I shared a thing with her from Bezos about work-life harmony. This is where the conversation will start. Now, at some point, we're both not stupid, right? We know we're going to talk about work. We know why we're both there. Right. But to kick it off this way is so much better. And to end that lunch with the last 5 to 8 minutes of telling, well, what are you guys doing with digital